Welcome to NarraBox, where every story finds a home. All tales shared here are crafted with creativity and respect. Any resemblance to real events is purely coincidental. We invite you to sit back, imagine, and let the world of story unfold.
My 7-Minute Secret. Episode 2. The First Clues. Snow still fell softly over the city, each flake a tiny world of its own. In the weeks since Elara had discovered her power, she had learned to move in the stillness. Each night, she tested its edges, clutching her locket, whispering the words, and feeling the world hush around her. She learned the limits of those 7 minutes. She learned that her power wasn't just a trick or an accident. It was hers, a chance to do what no one else could. She spent those moments saving lives. A woman about to step into traffic, a child slipping on ice, a man teetering on the edge of a bridge, small acts that no one else would ever see. But to Elara, each was a promise that her life still had meaning. But even as she found her purpose in the stillness, questions pulled at her. She couldn't forget the cold letter that had taken her home, the debts that had appeared from nowhere, and the emptiness that had swallowed her family's savings. One name always returned to her thoughts: Thomas, the man who had claimed those debts, whose signature had ended her old life. She remembered his sharp suit and careful smile, the way he had spoken of numbers and obligations, as though her grief were just another transaction. She needed answers, and she knew now she had the means to find them. One evening, as she walked home from work, she saw him again. Thomas stepped out of an office building, his coat pulled tight against the wind. He checked his phone, his breath clouding in the cold air. Elara followed at a distance, her heart racing. He turned down an alley, pausing beneath a flickering streetlight. He was alone, lost in the glow of his phone. She stopped. She whispered the words, "I want everything to stop." The world froze around her. Snowflakes caught in the air, a perfect stillness stretching out before her. Thomas stood like a statue, his phone open in his hand. She stepped closer, her fingers trembling. The phone was unlocked, and she scrolled through it. Messages, photos, documents. Each flick of her finger was a step deeper into a truth she had never imagined. She found the first clue, a photograph of a car, twisted and broken, its headlights shattered. Her parents' car, the night they had died. Thomas had been there. Her breath caught. She felt a cold certainty settle into her bones. She didn't know why he'd kept this picture, but she knew what it meant. He wasn't just the man who'd taken her home. He was part of what had destroyed it. She kept searching. She found folders of debt documents, names and faces she didn't know. Dozens of them, all the same language, the same signatures. Debts that didn't exist. Lives taken apart, piece by piece. The world was still frozen, but Elara felt her own heartbeat echo in the silence. 7 minutes to see the truth. 7 minutes to know that everything she'd lost was no accident. It had been planned. She stepped back as the hush began to fade. Time crept forward again. Thomas blinked, unaware of the invasion she had made. He pocketed his phone and walked on, turning down another dark street. Elara followed. Her legs felt weak, but her resolve was iron. She needed to know where he was going, what he was hiding. He stopped at a low, dark building, a workshop, windows covered in grime. Inside, a single light glowed. She pressed herself into the shadows, watching as Thomas moved through the room. Through a crack in the door, she saw him open a safe. Stacks of money, the same forged papers she had seen on his phone, evidence of everything he had stolen, from her and from others. Her hands curled into fists. She wanted to walk in there and confront him, to demand to know why he had done this, but she knew she wasn't ready. Not yet. She turned to leave and almost stumbled into someone else standing in the shadows. She hadn't seen him at first, hidden by the darkness. He was taller than Thomas, his coat collar turned up against the cold. She couldn't see his face, only the faint glint of his eyes as he studied her. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his voice low and calm. Elara froze. Her mind raced for a lie, an excuse, but the words caught in her throat. The man didn't move. He tilted his head slightly, as though weighing her silence, as though he already knew too much. "Who are you?" he asked again, softly. The question hung in the air, sharp as a blade. Elara swallowed hard, her breath catching. She didn't answer. The world seemed to hold its breath with her, the snow still falling softly beyond the alley. Her fingers tightened around her locket. She didn't know who he was or what he wanted, but she knew this was only the beginning. She turned and ran, the question still echoing in her mind as she vanished into the night.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more original stories. See you in the next journey.